Hey team, we're back for round 2 here on Sacrifice. Wanted to follow up our first, the body that we oftentimes give up and push through and power through for the better of the team. And today we're going to talk about time, what that looks like. We're going to start actually youth, right? We're going to start with this kind of insanity that's created around travel sports today, and then that sacrifice of time and what that looks like, even as you get to the college level and then into the professional levels. You know, the commitment that you're giving up to get. So I'll let my brother Daryl kind of kick this thing off with a few thoughts.
Man, and we were just talking about this concept. So my story, like the first thing to like kick this off that comes to my mind is Antonio Brown. And everyone knows like how good of an athlete he is and one of the best receivers of the league, cover of Madden this year. And dude has an insane work ethic, and you have to put in the time if you want the outcome, right? And we know that the grind is part of becoming elite, right? If you're not working out, you're not going to be able to push anybody around. You're not going to be able to perform. You got to perfect your craft. But when I think about like what we sacrifice and how sometimes we can cross that boundary of our time, I just remember being in the apartment and watching the football games and things like that. We're just, as teammates, we're hanging out and we're chilling. And I remember Antonio Brown would have a speed ladder at the bottom of the stairs and the speed ladder going into the kitchen.
Wow.
And while we're sitting here chilling, laughing, joking, like he's doing speed ladder drills. And it was like, I used to be like, wow, man, this dude has an insane work ethic. And like now that I'm older and wiser, I'm like, man, this dude could not shut it off. Right. And who you are, like we all hear our coaches say this to us. They say stuff like who you are in sports is who you'll be after sports, and like this is bigger than the game, and you know that these disciplines that you learn you'll carry with you, and it's like you're going to carry that discipline into your life after sports. Right. And if you don't know when to shut it off or how to shut it off, and I'm not saying Antonio Brown hasn't learned that, but you're going to miss moments with people that you might not ever get back.
Wow,
like, he'll never get that moment back. No, he probably has no clue what we were talking about.
Right. And you just lit me up, dude, because I was that guy. Wow. I was not the most talented guy. And I remember I was the guy in the batting cages with the lights turned on at nighttime. And people would drive by at 9, 10 o'clock at night. And that was me, right? I was so obsessed with that grind and trying to excel that now that you mentioned that, I had brothers back at the apartments, you know, that I was missing that fellowship with, right? That I was literally putting that game and that status and that identity in front of, you know, some of the other things that just were right in front of me that could have been, you know, amazing experiences and tremendous brotherhood, you know?
Oh, yeah. Like from a personal standpoint, I remember like when I got injured and I had to be out for that season to rehabilitate for my back injury. And I could have come around the guys whenever I wanted to. I could have came to practices. I could have traveled. Like my coach has said, like however much you want to be involved, you can be involved. But we're going to fill your roster spot. So it's just like, no, like, there's a certain amount of travel games you might not be able to go to because we need to use it for the people that are playing. But I didn't come around at all. Wow. And they won the MAC championship that year. Wow. Had some great victories that year. That was Jalil Dye's breakout year, in my opinion. And I missed a lot of moments of celebration and just being there with that team because I was trying to accelerate my rehabilitation process and speed it up faster than what it should have been. Yeah. You know, so I was over here doing the chiropractic visits, extra days a week. I was doing multiple epidural shots in my back, manipulating the healthcare system. I'm selling drugs to pay for my medical expenses and all of this, like I'm sacrificing my time.
And miss what, right?
And missing the thing that makes time the most valuable, which is people. Right. And experiences and memories. Yeah. And so like to this day, like when we get around the fellas, they're all talking about, the Michigan State game that we won and, the kick that we got a second chance on. And, it's a big deal when Central Michigan beats Michigan State. Yeah. And they're all talking about that. And they're like, I'm like, I can't relate. I can't celebrate because I sacrificed my time to hurry up and get back instead of just chilling out, allowing my injury to heal, doing what I'm supposed to do in my rehabilitation process, and enjoying those moments and making those memories with my teammates.
Man, you said a couple things in there too that's going to lead me into this next piece of travel sports. You said people and creating memories, and you know, it's amazing to me how we've gotten this insanity going of travel sports, starting youth sports, starting at 5 and 6 years old, brother. I have a buddy who went to a 6-year-old World Series. I think it was in like Mississippi for coach pitch baseball. Y'all, coach pitch baseball World Series. Yeah. And these kids have now, these sports, everybody, as you guys know, are consuming our family lives. How many families do you talk to that they leave on a Thursday and they don't get back to a Sunday night? And I just, you know, we're all, I guess, chasing this college scholarship or this this fantasy of that we're the next ones, and it's really just weighing heavily on me right now, brother, that we're losing those opportunities with our families to create memories. We're sacrificing the fact that we could be taking a vacation with our family for a sport or for a game, and that game's going to leave. That game's going to be expired at some point. And right now, is maybe our listeners and our teammates know, I mean, it's a 70% removal rate. But, you know, by the age of 13, kids are 70% of kids are leaving sport by the age of 13. What do you got left? Where's that family time? Where, you know, where is that those memories that you missed out on because we've idolized this sport so much? So
and it's like, I think because sports is something that a lot of people can do, and we think that we have this shot at being the next LeBron. And I'm not trying to ruin anybody's dreams, man. I tell people to dream, work hard, but like don't sacrifice your memories on the altar of pleasing people and making this type of career path as an athlete work. So if it's like one thing that I think is the common theme between these two episodes of sacrificing your body, sacrificing your time, it's boundaries. It's like, what's the cutoff point? To what extent are you willing? Because we're not saying don't put in the work. In fact, if you had your wristband on, he always wears his wristband and says, do the work. Like, you've got to put in the hours. But that's not what we're saying. We've put in the hours. That's right. But it's, what are the boundaries? At what point are you going to shut it down and enjoy the people and enjoy the journey?
The moment, being present. You know, being 6, being 8, being 10, and not having mom and dad's only group of friends associated with a sport. Not having your only group of friends associated with sport. Not feeling like you have to turn down an offer to go to the lake because you've got, you know, you've got this commitment of sport that's just weighing on you, right? Like if I'm not there, and trust me, Dad, if you ever watch this, I know you didn't want to miss. I get it. But I look back and it's like one day, maybe they would have lost, you know, so they lost, but I could have done something differently, and we could have had a family experience together. You know, dude,
let me tell you a funny story back to youth sports. So, I was on, I can't remember what grade I am. I don't want to lie and mess it up because there's people in here that probably know the accurate dates, but I was young. I think I was like 6th grade. Let's just say 6th grade. And we were on this travel, I was on this travel basketball team with a bunch of 7th graders. I was like playing the grade up. And we went to like the national championships that year. Like, we had a really good, talented team. Well, since I was a younger guy, I was always like 6th, 7th man off the bench. So one of the guys who started ahead of me, his name was Denny Means, and he was going to be out because, I don't know, he had to do something. And it was going to be my week to be the starter for this awesome team. And so this is my time to shine. This is my time to like earn a starting position because this guy is out. And my dad was driving me to the game. Now, we were supposed to just follow behind the team, like kind of like the funeral thing, and all ride there at the same time. But my dad just, he tried to like teach me that he was trying to teach me directions and that he knows how to get there and it's fine. And so he's like, I don't need a GPS. And so I'm like, Dad, just use the GPS or just follow the people. He's like, man, I don't need that, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, we got lost. Could not find this place. Could not get a hold of anybody because everybody's at the game getting ready. And got lost for so long that I missed the game. Missed my opportunity to start. Dude, I was so mad at him for this. So he took me to this movie. That, number one, he made me sneak into, which is a whole nother thing. Sneak into this movie and get kicked out of the movie because we snuck snuck in or whatever. And the funny thing is though, years later, like I was so mad, like mad at them, like didn't talk to them, like that type of thing. But looking back, we laugh about that all the time. That's awesome. All the time. Awesome. And I think that if I would have had this perspective that, this game is just a part of my life, it's not all of my life. Sure. I think I would have just let my guards down a little bit in that moment and just been like, you know what? My life doesn't depend on this one moment in time, So cool. And so, cool. Things that I thought was important then, I don't think is that important now. And I have that memory with my dad because, he made a mistake. And so, I'm not saying skip your games or anything, but just trying to get you to see a different end of the spectrum there and how like memories are more important than, sacrificing your time and having no boundaries.
That's right. And I think, looking at it is we're not discouraging anybody from putting in the work. Right?
Absolutely.
Like, let's just make that clear again, as Daryl said earlier. Yeah. You got to put in the work, but those boundaries, what do those look like? And I can't say either one of us has the answer, right? We're both dads, fortunate to have beautiful young ladies, both of us. And, we're hopefully going to have some opportunities to play sports with, to see them play sports and watch them grow up.
And we're building our careers and we still have to make that decision of what's the boundary. Right. Like how much do I stay up at night and put in the grind because I'm a hard worker and I've been doing this all my life and I know how to get up early and stay up late and I got discipline. Like how much do I keep doing that? And then when do I shut it off? When do I actually spend time to be present and not always trying to do something? So,
man, you alluded to that earlier, brother, when you say coaches even say, who you are now is who you'll be later, right? And that's been my demon as well. How do I shut it off, right? I mean, athletes, you guys know out there, our community of teammates out there that, you're accelerators, you're drivers, you're producers. But at some point, what's the boundary that gets set up that says, oh, time out, right? Like maybe I'm going a little too far. Maybe I'm at work too long. Maybe maybe I'm too hard on my kids even, right? I've heard some dads tell me that when they hear kind of my perspective of just letting kids explore sport and not actually, driving home this big travel conspiracy that I think's out there. So,
oh man, don't go down that road. You start a fight.
Right. So, anyways, we just wanted to throw this out there too. If you guys have any stories, anything you've been witness to or been through, share them. Use this group, use this community on Facebook, use these posts is a way to share those experiences. And I'm a big advocate that these stories are meant to be shared. They're meant to change lives. They're meant to influence. And let's just keep the community building itself up.
Yeah. So we want to know, how has sacrificing your time impacted your life? Let us know. All right. Till next time.
We're out.
Finish strong.